Have you ever had the experience of being very busy and lost at the same time? Not like lost in chaos or overwhelmed, but just unclear. You have a direction and you're moving towards it, but you're not sure it's really for you. Maybe it's somebody else's direction. Today we are going into the world of Alfheim, the world of the Light Elves, the world of clear perception. And I'm gonna show you the 4 ancient forces that the Norse identified that erodes your clarity slowly day by day. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why your clarity went quiet, and you'll have one concrete way to begin hearing it again. In the 9-world matrix, Alfheim sits at one end of the x-axis. Opposite it, Alfheim, the world of the drawers, craft, structure, execution, the world of making things real. Between them, Midgard, the lived reality where it all comes together. The axis describes the journey from perception to manifestation, from the idea that appears in the mind's light to the things that exist in the world. But here's what most people miss. Alfheim without Alfheim is a machine without direction. You can work harder, produce more, optimize everything, and still feel like you're building something that isn't quite yours. Because Alfheim executes, Alfheim selects. It determines what becomes real enough to matter. What is noise, what is pursuit, what you recognize as meaningful. And when Alfheim goes dark, not suddenly but slowly, you don't stop functioning. You just stop trusting your own perception. The Light Elves of Alfheim were described in the Old Norse text as brighter than the sun itself. They don't govern emotion, that is Vanaheim. They don't govern action, that is Alfheim. They don't govern high spiritual order, that is Asgard. They govern perception, what the Norse called klarsyn, clear sight. The ability to see what is actually true, what is actually yours, what direction actually calls you. Beneath the noise, beneath the performance, beneath the accumulated weight of other people's expectation. And according to the myth, Alfheim is so pure, so essential to the cosmic order, that it will survive even Ragnarok. That tells you something important. The capacity for clear perception is not a luxury. It is one of the last things to endure. So why is it so hard to access right now? In the ancient text, 4 stacks room the crown of Yggdrasil, the very top of the world tree, closest to Alfheim. They are not symbols to be decoded, but forces that are allowed to work quietly, constantly, day by day, eroding clarity without ever stopping. Dáinn the dead one, Dvalinn the slumbering one, Duneyrr the thunder in the air, Duraþrór the one who breaks 2 doors. 2 pairs, 2 natures. Dáinn and Dvalinn the mild, quiet winds, the barely perceivable erosion. Duneyrr and Duraþrór the violent thundering forces, the ones that break what you thought was solid. Together they represent something precise, the full spectrum of how time moves through your perception. They don't attack the tree, they graze, continuously, quietly. And in a previous video, I showed how the stags live in the upper layer of Yggdrasil. The layer of perception, understanding and meaning. They are constantly rewriting reality. Old interpretation fade and new one emerge. What felt true last year feels uncertain today. This is not weakness, this is what time does to perception. But here's the insight that the Norse embedded in those names. Dáinn, the dead one, is the perception that have gone numb. It's like being on autopilot. You move through your day, but nothing really registers. Dvalinn, the slumbering one, the half-awake state. You sense something is missing, but you can't really name it. Your own signal is there, but blurry, like you are waking from a dream and it slowly dissolves. Duneyrr means thunder in the ear. It's like too many input drowning the signal. It's not like chaos in Jotunheim. It's more like a mental overload. Too many inputs, too many voices, too many things that demands your attention at one time. Duraþrór, the doorbreaker, is the force from within that shadow your structure like procrastination. It's not laziness. You know procrastination. You set a goal, but somehow your unconscious make it so that you can't follow through. None of these feels dangerous. That's precisely the point. The stags never attack. They graze, day after day, until the place where Alfheim speaks has been worn so thin you've forgotten it was ever there. But here's what matters just as much. The stags were never meant to be stopped. Yggdrasil doesn't survive despite them. It survives with them. Time erodes. Time also refines. The clarity you had at 25 was sharp, but it was often borrowed, built from what others expected, what culture promised, what you thought you were supposed to want. At 35, some of that started to crack. At 45, the questions get more serious. Over time, something changes, not because you lose direction, but because what isn't truly yours slowly fades away, until what remains is something quieter, not louder, not more ambitious, but truer. Some of what the stags wear away needed to go, old certainties that were never really yours, borrowed meanings that kept you comfortable but not clear. The question is not how to stop the stags. The question is whether what remains after a season have moved through you is actually yours. That is what Alfheim asks. Most people think they are lost because they don't know what to do, but that is not the real problem. The real problem is that they no longer can distinguish what is their own signal and what is external expectations. So they outsource to algorithm, to culture, to what other people seems to want from them. And very slowly you get very good at one thing, living somebody else's life. You don't lose your direction all at once. You just lose the ability to recognize it as yours. So how do you restore Alfheim and the Light Elves? Not by thinking more, not by adding more frameworks or goals or systems, but from removing distortion. Here's one concrete way. I call it clearing the sky. So think of your thoughts as clouds in the sky. They are constantly passing, and you can't stop them. That's okay, you don't have to go and analyze every thought. When you see a thought, you just have to label it mine or others. So, if it's something you saw online, a comparison maybe, that would be an other, so label it others. If it's something in the workspace, maybe you think, what did that colleague think of me? That would be others, label it others. But then, if you feel this is really me, this is something I connect with, then label it mine and keep it. The goal is not to empty your mind. The goal is to change your position from being inside the noise to standing beside it. Because your Alfheim signal is still there. The Light Elves didn't leave. They're just waiting for the noise to thin enough that you can hear them again. In the 9-world matrix, every world have a gift and a shadow. Alfheim's gift is clear perception, the ability to see what is actually yours and move towards it with precision. Its shadow is silent erosion. 4 stacks every day wearing away of the place where your clearest signal lives. Not through catastrophe, not through trauma, through repetition, through the gentle, relentless movement of time through perception. The question Alfheim asks is not, what do you want to achieve? It asks, what do you actually recognize as true where everything else goes quiet? If you recognize any of the 4 stacks in your life, you're doing something important, because seeing the mechanism is the first step. If you want to go deeper, you can do so by downloading the 9-world matrix. It shows you where in the coordinate system you are right now in your life. Or you can take the soul audit that shows you what worlds dominate your inner landscape right now. I'll see you in the next video.